When we face a once-in-a-multi-generation problem like COVID-19, we're just struck by the life loss, the financial burdens and hardships, and the impact on society. Being who we are as Temasek, we find the natural question has not been, what should we do? It's, how could we not do something? We need to go and join hands with all stakeholders, whether it's government and public service, whether it's corporate organizations, whether it's the man in the street. Where we can support, we will support.
We will always be committed to doing well. But now is the time for us to weigh in, to do right, and to do good for our communities. This is not just a healthcare crisis or an economic crisis. It's a social and humanitarian crisis as well. No one is safe until everyone is safe. We brought together the weight of our capabilities, our networks, our resources, and our people to this pandemic to take it to the ground, both here in Singapore and elsewhere.
When the migrant worker dorms and community cases spiked, we wanted to augment national efforts to increase capacity for COVID-19 testing. So we started working with healthcare and corporate partners to conduct swabs in private hospitals and migrant worker dorms.
We embark on an approach of swap, sort and recover. That's when we go in and we test all the workers living in the dormitories so that we have a good sense of the people who have been infected. And if there were people who were not exposed to COVID at all, we want to protect them and help them to stay that way by having them live separate from others.
There was also a global shortage of test kits. One huge shortage is in swabs. As it turned out, the leading manufacturer of swabs is based in Lombardy, the center of Italy's outbreak. We approached the institutions of high learning, the National University Hospital, and SMEs with the idea of producing swabs using 3D printing and injection molding.
We decided to go with 3D printing because of the fact that you could convert a design directly into a fabricated swab, as opposed to going through a series of process steps. With this method, we were able to stockpile quickly within months to several millions. Singapore had a very strong ecosystem, so all came to develop this together.
Cases were accelerating, and there needed to be a way to help alleviate the growing pressure on the hospitals so that hospitals can continue to take more acute cases. So what led us to the expo was the fact that we were looking for a relatively large space that could house lots of patients. And it was also operated by one of our portfolio companies. From the day the idea came about to getting the first 1,000 beds set up was only a matter of 10 days. We were trying to keep pace with the numbers of infections that were growing at a daily rate. The various Temasek portfolio companies brought with them specialized capabilities and pulled in the same direction.
Effective contact tracing is also very critical for the safe reopening of our economy. This will help business resume, and it prevents the scenario where businesses have to completely shut down because there is one infection. To complement our national efforts, we've also partnered Decrypt, one of our portfolio companies, to trial and develop a contact tracing device called the Blue Pass. It can significantly shorten the time taken for contact tracing. Currently, we would require 10 to 12 hours. We can shorten that to just a couple of hours.
One of the challenges we had to face is the shortage of ventilators. These are very critical to the severe COVID patients. So we tapped on existing relationship with medtech companies across the world to help source and distribute ventilators throughout the region. We partnered with one of our investee company, Advanced MedTech, to design and manufacture the world's first ventilator, which allows the clinicians to monitor the patients remotely. That feature is especially important because going contactless is the way to go in the pandemic.
Until a vaccine is found, we need to help our community stay protected. So we started by rolling out essential items such as masks and hand sanitizers to our frontline workers. We also know that our elderly may have weaker immune systems and that our migrant workers are susceptible to contracting the virus in the dormitories. We wanted every household and resident to have access to essential items such as hand sanitizers and reusable masks. We deployed vending machines island-wide. Residents were able to collect the mask kits for themselves or for their family members at any time of the day.
Besides safeguarding the health of our communities, we also need to ensure food security during the crisis. As nations geared into lockdowns, the fear of food shortages led to widespread panic buying. As borders were closing, restrictions were imposed on food exports, exaggerating the disruption in the food supply chain. Producers in many parts of the world had excess inventory, leading to food wastage and spoilage.
To tackle this, we've been working with various partners to help create buffer of essential food supply items such as vegetables and protein. We've also been building our domestic food storage and production capabilities. We've been working with our portfolio companies as well as global humanitarian institutions to help stabilize the situation.
COVID has taken us all by surprise, and I think people see that there are communities in need around them. We are very heartened that they have stepped forward to help, and we want to help financially support them. I think we're helping in our own little way, but definitely most of the credit goes to the people who are working hard on the ground to roll out all these initiatives.
We're seeing very sensible contributions by everyone make a dramatic impact. So it will get better. Yes, there will be occasional hiccups, but we're showing in Singapore that we can rise above it. And if Singapore can rise above it, every city can do the same. That same resilience that we're seeing getting replicated. So there's a lot to be hopeful for. And we just need to press on, and we know that the sun is shining beyond the dark clouds, and eventually the clouds will break.